1, 2, 3, let's go!
The comfort space is yours and mine. Navigating Podcast. Have a great day.
Hi, welcome to the very first episode of my channel. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So welcome to 001 episode, and as you can see from the title already, today I'm going to talk about decision making. So before we're going to start any further, I just want to do kind of like emotion checkup. How are you guys feeling right now? For me personally, I feel great today with a little question mark. I'm not really sure whether I feel really great. Well, actually, currently I am having kind of like a physical pain because I have a bracelet on and I just have a new feeling of wearing a rubber. I'm not really sure. It's kind of like a rubber band and I have to tie it from my top of my teeth, upper teeth and the lower teeth. And it's so hard to speak with this thing on and it's so uncomfortable and I have to bear with it for a whole entire day. And the dentist said that I have to wear this for the whole entire month and it's actually very painful. I wish that I could get this out and it's very uncomfortable, guys. I feel like if you have a chance, just get Invisalign. I think Invisalign is better than an actual braces because it might be more comfortable. I'm not sure. I've never worn it but I asked some of my friends like how your Invisalign is like and they said that at first it was uncomfortable, but later and later it's getting better. But I feel like anyways it can be better than just using braces like I'm having right now. To be honest, I am so uncomfortable. That is my physical pain. For the mental part, overall, currently I feel fine. I feel actually a little energetic, as you can tell from my sound, because I have been wanting to make this podcast for so long and I finally managed my time and finally being able to record my sound and feeling so relaxed and be ready to make the podcast. But for a little mental checkup here, yesterday was so horrible for me. Very horrible. There are many things that I faced yesterday and it was horrible. And that's the reason why it inspired me to make a podcast, an episode about decision making. Well, I think we should jump into what I'm going to talk about today. So let me talk about decision making in my life and what just happened to me and why I want to talk about this thing so bad. So first of all, let me just introduce myself to you guys so that you guys can understand what kind of person I am. I have to say that I'm quite a fast decision maker. I always have a mindset that whatever comes to me, I take it as an opportunity to learn whatever results going to come up next. I always take it as a good thing for me to learn new situations in my life, something like that. Like, imagine when there is one door closest to you, there will be another door opens up for you. This is what I always face. Like every time if I choose this thing, it might not be a really good thing because it's not my comfort zone or whatever. But still, I will see new things that I have never seen before. I think it's one way of stepping out of my comfort zone as well. So all the time, if there is any decision for me to make, I will take the decision that comes to me first. Anything that comes to me first, I'll take it as a thing that is destined to be my decision. It's always been like that. The problem here is that when the situations are more complicated and have longer term impacts, it's not easy to think it that way anymore. The way that I feel like, okay, just take whatever that comes to me first, I think that is not making sense anymore because you need to spend time on it, to think about it, to reflect and to weigh it, the decisions more. I think I should take time on it more so that I can choose the decision that fits me the most, and that mindset that I had at first will be the mindset that cheer me up after I get the result from those decisions. I think it is better to understand the process of make a good decision, make a positive decision. At least you know yourself that, okay, I have been already through all the processes so that I will not regret that, okay, why you pick something so fast without considering the facts, the reasons why you only use emotions, something like that. So this time is the way that I make this. The reason why I make this podcast is to remind myself that, okay, later on, please be a wise chooser. Don't just take things that comes to you first, but decide, wait, and see things clearer, see the pros and cons in each decision before you actually make, before you accept someone or before you reject someone. I think I should take time on it more. Have you ever been in a position which you have to decide things and you know what people around you are expecting you to decide that thing? Because that is the thing that just happened to me in weeks before, when my friends ask whether I want to be in this position or this position. And for me myself, I knew exactly what I want. I want to be the vice president of art creation in the color group or whatever that is, but it's quite an important position. I want to be there. But in the same time, other friends expect me to be like a secretary or something position, but I don't want to be in that position because I don't want to work being a secretary. It's not what my passion is. But because of a lot of peer pressure going around and there are many different emotions that I have at that moment, maybe I might think that I want to satisfy those people by choosing being a secretary, even if I don't want to be in that position at all. But I ended up deciding things that I just don't want to because I was influenced by other feelings. I use emotion more than reasons and logic. So that's the reason why I feel so frustrated. And the day before the teacher asked me, selectively asked me, is that the right word? But the teacher came up to me and asked whether I want to join this competition or not. And of course, at the moment, I said yes, like 100% yes, without considering anything, without considering my time, whether I have time for it, because it's like a storytelling competition, which takes a lot of time for me to practice, making a script, filming the video and all the stuff. It takes a lot of time. And in the same time, I want to do a science project. But I ended up didn't do the science project because I have already accepted the storytelling competition. It was a horrible decision ever because I ended up right now, yesterday I just realized that I didn't got into the qualification round and I felt so frustrated. These two things that I made like wrong decision just because I decide so fast, just because I decide because of pressures around me instead of using logic. Yesterday everything that just happens all overwhelmed in me, so I was so overwhelmed and I felt so horrible yesterday. So that's the reason why I'm here talking about how to make better decision making. For me myself, I'm in the stage of learning as I do a lot of research, blah blah blah, how I can make a better decision making. To be honest, I am still in a learning stage. I'm not like the one who successfully do it, but I feel like these things kind of suggest me an idea how next time I can make wiser decisions. Okay, so that's the thing, right? It is stated that it is important to learn strategies for making positive decisions in tough situations. While you may not be able to guarantee the outcome of a decision before you make it, but at least this is important. But at least you can know you put a lot of careful thought into it. Because the problem here is that, okay, first of all, as I suggested to you at first, I feel like I have a very good mindset on decision making because I always be ready that, okay, whatever results are going to come to me, I will take it as a chance for me to learn new things, right? I think with that mindset is great. But the things that I feel so regret about it is that I don't take time on considering things. I just say yes and yes and yes, but in fact it can't be like that. And it has already proven to me that you can't do like that anymore, because at the end of the day I will be the only one who just being had a mental breakdown and stressed all over the decision that I just made it wrong and all those stuff. So at least you know that you put an effort to it and you will not regret on your decision making. So first of all, before we're going to go any further when it comes to decision making, you need to understand that when we face with a tough decision, it's very common to feel overwhelmed, stressed, or anxious, wound up, pressured, confused, distracted, or tired. It's totally okay for you to feel that way. And now I'm going to suggest you 9 steps where you can make a wiser decision. So I got this from reachout.com in the topic of decision making 101. I will link this website in the description box if I can, but I want to give a huge credit on this website here, reachout.com. So in this website it suggests 9 steps where you can make a positive decision. So in the first step, don't let stress get the better of you. Okay. Second step, give yourself some time. Third step, weigh the pros and cons. Fourth step, think about your goals and values. Fifth step, consider all the possibilities. Sixth step, talk it out. 7, keep a diary. 8, plan how you'll tell others. 9, rethink your options. Yeah, and there are 9 steps there. So let's go through all of each step here. The first step, don't let stress get the better of you. Now I'm gonna read like the description, how it's like. It is easy to feel stressed out and anxious when you're facing a tough choice. You might tend to rush your decisions without thinking them through, or you avoid making a decision at all because the stress has put you off your game. If you're feeling anxious about a decision, try to manage your stress so that it doesn't cloud your thinking. Go for a walk on the beach, hit up a yoga class, or hang out with friends. This is totally true. There are many different times that I face the decision making and I feel like, oh my gosh, it's so tough. I don't know how I can manage that. And I ended up going through TikTok or YouTube watching different entertainment videos so that I can forget that I have to decide. But that's not a good thing because that is just the way that I'm running away from it. But what you should do is to spend time with yourself, trying to get all of those emotions out so that those emotions will not cloud your own thinking. When you decide, I think it's very important to make your mind as clear as possible. Don't try to have many emotions to influence your thoughts. So what you should do is to spend time with yourself. I think it's really important to just have a calm moment or like peaceful moment where you can reflect what is important to you, what is not important to you, what is the thing that you want, what are the things that you're passionate about. I think you need time. I myself need time so that I will understand what I actually want. And once you know what you want, things will be clear for you. Trust me. So please, in nowadays world, I really have to say that social media platforms, different things, Netflix, YouTube, Disney Plus, there are many different entertainment videos going around, right? And I have to say that I spend most of the time on it just because I feel stressed out and I just want to get away from that place. So I ended up being in YouTube and TikTok for so long, and it's totally nonsense because you need time and spend time with yourself. So first step here, spend time with yourself, get all the stress out. Don't let anything to cloud your own thinking. And once you get that, I feel like you're ready. You are like one step ready to make a good decision. So second step, give yourself some time. It's hard to think clearly under pressure, and sometimes your first idea isn't always your best one. Give yourself the chance to sit on a problem for a while so that you can process your options and feel confident about the course of action you choose. This is really important because what I believed at first was that the best decision was the first decision. Because I feel like, I'm in a period in this generation, we have to be quick decision maker, we have to do something quick and fast, when in fact, it's not always like that. What it needs is your time to spend on it to clearly understand what you want, just like the first step. So spend time on yourself and don't think that the first decision is the best one. It doesn't always have to be. Third step here, weigh the pros and cons. This is a thing that I had done before, but I didn't do it most of the time, which is the thing that you're supposed to do when you like making decision, right? So when faced with big decisions, sometimes we lose sight of big picture. So write a list of pros and cons for each course of action and then compare them. Sometimes the cons are nearly as bad as we imagine them to be, or the pros might make your options more obvious. I think this one, weighing the pros and cons, you list down what are the pros, what are the cons. I think this one will work with decision that is so impactful in your life, and you really need a deep thought reflection with it so that you will see the whole picture of it. Sometimes, as I already mentioned to you, when you make a decision, there is a lot of emotions going on, and those emotions can really influence the way that you see that this is positive, this is negative, this is pros, and this is cons. Sometimes it's getting all mixed up. Just literally, your mind will just get mixed up so easily. So it is really good for you to list down. Have a piece of paper and list them down 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you start like listing things down, it will be clearer, and you will see that, hey, things are not that complicated. Things are not that mixed up. Things are not that hard. It's actually very simple, but it's just our mind that assume that it's hard and complicated. So I think listing down the pros and cons will be a very effective way of, weighing your decision. Step number 4, think about your goals and values. It is important to be true to ourselves and what we value in life. When you factor into a decision that things that are important to you, the best option might become obvious. At any rate, you are more likely to end up with an outcome you're happy with. Yep. Be sure what you want. Know yourself. I feel like one of the things that will change your whole entire life is to know yourself. The first step to be a better person is to know yourself. Know what you want, and then you will decide things that fits what you want. What is your goal? What is your values? And it's not just you knowing it, but you have to remember it, keep it in mind, and always take it as the first priority because it is your goals, right? Because it is your values. So don't let anything influence you. Just take the goals there and you just walk straight forward to that goals. I think this way will make your decision making a lot easier, right? Step number 5, consider all the possibilities. Making a decision can result in several different outcomes. Yes, that's true, and not all of them may be obvious. When considering each option, don't just list the positives and negatives, write down any likely consequences. I think this one really relates to the third step, which is to weigh pros and cons. Instead of just list down pros and cons, in the same time, you can write down some of the consequences that might happen after this as a step like that. Yep, things will always be more organized and a lot simpler when you write things down. Step number 6, talk it out. It can be helpful to get another person's perspective on your issue, particularly if they have faced a similar decision in their own life. I think this is cool. When you get to talk with someone who understands the moment that you are in, once you talk with them, someone who have experienced it before, when you talk to them, you will feel that, okay, they will talk in a way that it's simpler because they have already faced it. And when you talk with them, things will be a lot easier. Because when I was young, as far as I can remember, whenever I had a problem about friends, like things that is going at school, and I feel like it's a huge problem for me. But when I talk with my sister, who kind of like have experienced it before, she makes things a lot easier. She just speaks things out so simply. And I feel like, why take things so complicated when things are so simple and easy? So just take it easy and just talk with someone who have experienced it before so that you'll get some reflection from them and you'll see things better. But I feel like the first step is to spend time with yourself. And then later, if you really need some suggestions from others, you can start talking. Just talk it out. Step number 7, keep a diary. If you feel like you're on a bit of an emotional roller coaster, it might help to keep track of your feelings by writing them down. To be honest, I feel like making a diary or like writing things down, writing your emotions down in each day is really important, because in each day I spend time in my life. I don't exactly know what is going on in my life. If I ask myself what happened yesterday, what was my feeling is like yesterday, I can't really see the whole image of it until I actually write things down, until I actually make a diary. I feel like writing things down will make a clearer picture, literally. So you can write it down so that you can make a simpler picture. Now we're in the step number 8, is to plan how you will tell others. If you think someone may have a bad response to your decision, think through what their reaction is likely to be. Put yourself in their shoes, and to help you think of a good way to manage the situation. So it's more like when you see things, right? For example, there are 2 ways for you to choose. The way number A and the way number B. You will see things according to your own perspective. But sometimes seeing it from the third person perspective might help you see a better view from it, and you will decide things better. I think that's how it is, but I have never tried it before. I think it might take a lot of consideration because you're going to put yourself in others' shoes, But I'll try. Step number 9, which is the last one, is to rethink your options. If you're up against a lot of pressure over a decision, or there are some new factors to consider, look over your options again. You might decide that your original decision is still the best one, but give yourself the option of changing course. If the decision no longer feels right for you, go through these steps again to figure out a better solution. So all in all, just take time, spend time with yourself, go through it again, see pros and cons, some of the consequences that might happen next, write things down. If you feel so complicated, like when you feel like it's getting more and more complicated, just writing down. These are 9 steps for you to make decisions from reachout.com, Decision Making 101. So now you see 9 steps where you can make better decision already. But next, what I'm going to talk about, which is the thing that I talked about the most from the previous speech, is about emotions that can influence your decisions. So actually, according to the website of Psychology Today, for 4 ways emotions can screw up your decisions. Well, there are 4 kind of emotions that can really influence you to decide things in a wrong way, basically screw your decision up. So let's go through this. The first one, excitement. Excitement can cause you to overestimate your chances of success. There is a reason why casinos employ bright lights and loud noises. They want you to get excited. The more excited you feel, the more likely you'll be, to spend large amounts of money. When you feel really excited about something, you're more likely to underestimate a risk, whether you take out a loan for a thrilling opportunity or bet all your cash on seemingly promising horse. You'll be more likely to underestimate your risk when you're feeling excited. I've never experienced that before. Have you ever been with your friends and you get so excited? You get so excited with your friends because your friends cheer you up and all those things, and you start to do some risky things. I've seen a lot in high school kind of series, and I think that is real. When you get so excited, you get to do something that is you overestimate the risk that is going to come up next. You don't use logic, but you use your emotion. So excitement. So the second one is anxiety. Anxiety is one area of your life spills over into other areas. Okay, let me just read this for you guys. If you're anxious about something in your personal life, perhaps you're worried about a healthcare or nervous about buying a new home. It can cause you to feel anxious about your business decisions as well. Even though the situations are completely unrelated, research shows you'll likely to have trouble separating the two. So, anxiety over one specific issue here can linger. When you're feeling nervous, you may refuse to create change or you may struggle to make decisions. As a result, your thinking is likely to be clouded. Yeah, that's the one that I mentioned before, right? Anxiety, being so stressed about something can cloud your own decisions. So, what you should do is to get out of that place, spend time with yourself, and just get your mind more relaxed, right? And I have already told you that it is important to know yourself. Know yourself that what are the things that can make you feel relaxed, like truly relaxed, not escaping from it. I used to believe that I feel more relaxed. I feel a lot better when I watched videos, and in fact, it's not really the way. But I would suggest you the way that you can make your mind a lot more clearer, not clouded by a lot of emotions going on, is to go to bed. And once you wake up, it is the time that your mind will be so clear. It's like a real clear, crystal clear mind. There is no dust in that. So just go to bed and wake up. Once you wake up, make a decision. I think it makes sense. It makes sense. So the third emotions is feelings of sadness can cause you to settle. So research shows you're likely to set your goals lower when you're feeling sad. In one study, researchers asked participants to sell various objects. Participants who felt sad set their prices lower than other participants. Researchers suspect that the participants' sadness here led them to set the bar low in hopes that achieving their goal would improve their mood. So creating low expectations for yourself can prevent you from reaching your greatest potential. You may decide not to apply for a promotion, or you may not negotiate for what you want just because you're feeling down. This is totally true. When I feel so down, I was in a mood of like not ready to fight. I don't expect things much. I just expect things less because I'm not in the mood. That's simply just it. So make sure that you're not feeling sad when you make decisions, so that you will not choose the things that is like lower your own potential when you can actually go beyond that. The last one is anger. Anger and embarrassment can lead to taking a long shot. So intense emotions can lead to rash decisions, and anger and embarrassment may make you particularly vulnerable to high risk, low payoff choices. Researchers suspect intense, uncomfortable emotions impair self-regulation skills. This is true. So 4 feelings, 4 emotions that can screw your decisions is first, excitement, second, anxiety, third, feeling of sadness, and fourth, anger and embarrassment or intense emotions. So make sure that when you make any decisions, you don't have those things that cloud your mind, right? Okay, I'm trying to keep myself these things. Okay, 9 steps, don't have these emotions. So I've heard that when you make the decision, make sure that you have enough sleep. That's one thing. And second is that you're not hungry. Don't ever, never ever decide things when you're hungry, because of course hungry, you might be hangry, intense emotions. It can change what you want to decide. So as I mentioned, making decision is very important, but always have a positive mindset that whatever will come up next, the result of the decision is not as important as the way you make the decision. So at least when you go through these steps, you will never feel regret that you haven't been through it, because you have already been through it. You go through all the processes, and once you make that, you will never regret of what you just made. It is important. Before I'm going to say goodbye to you all, before I'm going to see you in the next episode, I want to leave you one quote by Steve Jobs. So, the most important decisions you make are not the things you do, but the things you decide not to do, by Steve Jobs. So thank you so much for listening this episode up until here, and I hope that you will have a great and happy life with making right decision. At least you don't feel regret that you make a wrong decision, because whatever result is fine, but make sure that the process that you go through when you decide things is good. So hope this episode can make someone's lives better. See you in next episode. Bye.
1, 2, 3, let's go!